Welcome all. Pain and female. In last series also we have seen pain and female have a deep relation, and in this year we were very happy to have in India for first time organizes its first pelvic pain conference. Again we are back with pain. Pain never goes. Female and pain go side by side only. So one more pain related topic is bladder pain syndrome. Yes. So today we are going to discuss on bladder pain syndrome, and we are very happy to have with us Dr. Amita Jain ma'am. Welcome ma'am. We are so happy that you gave your precious time to us for discussing this so sensitive, so common or rare, all mixed topic. So today we will discuss all about detail with learn from you bladder pain syndrome. Ma'am, very first, let us tell us what we should call is bladder pain, painful bladder, interstitial cystitis, what it is.
So thank you, Mohini, for organizing this special session on a very neglected topic, which is bladder pain syndrome. So the question is that which term is the best. So the thing is that internationally it has been seen that all the patients of bladder pain, even if we are diagnosing it as a interstitial cystitis, they are not having typical features of inflammation or something. Sometimes the findings inside the bladder or absolutely
they may be normal. Yes.
Because there is a damage at a macroscopic level which won't be visible grossly. So that's why using the term of interstitial cystitis was not good. So some patients might have interstitial cystitis, but there are some patients which will not have inflammation. So that's why to include all those patients,
we have bladder pain syndrome.
We have accepted internationally the term bladder pain syndrome, but still people shouldn't confuse it as a separate entity. Sometimes we are using BPS, that is bladder pain syndrome / interstitial cystitis.
Okay. Yeah. So ma'am, bladder pain syndrome. So whenever the patient comes, anything starts with history, and especially in Urogyne, it's all about a good history and a good history. So when we start with the pain, when a patient pain come, like it may be chronic pelvic pain, it may be vulvodynia, vaginismus, patient may even have UTI, just burning micturition. So history, what that comes in bladder pain syndrome apart from pain?
So bladder, that's mean it is related to urine. So the most important distinguishing point or symptom would be that there would be some relation with urination. Okay. So patient will say that yes, there is a pain, discomfort either and at suprapubic region or lower abdomen or at urogenital area, which usually aggravates with full bladder. So that's a typical symptom. And also there would be associated irritative lower tract symptoms like urgency, frequency, and sometimes patient will say that there is no fear of leakage, but as soon as the bladder gets filled, they need to run for a kind of urination. That is a kind of urgency. So these are the typical symptoms.
Which urgency with pain points towards bladder pain syndrome. Urgency with leakage, it's overactive bladder.
Yeah, so that is the differentiating feature. You should always ask patient whether you have a fear of leakage or fear of
pain,
aggravation in your pain once you will postpone your urination. So that's
pain can be referred also in this, or it will be only central suprapubic, or it can be referred, means it can be referred to clitoris, vulva, perianum area, or it will be very specific.
So now you are actually reaching to that. Now the research is on phenotypes.
Oh yes,
so various
types for the bladder.
So because of those phenotypes, there could be different presentation of the same problem. So we are talking about the bladder-centric
type of phenotype,
but it could be sometimes also. GI symptoms would be prominent. Sometimes there would be pelvic floor spasm. Then patient we have more generous pain in whole of the pelvic floor. There would be myofascial bands. Patient will specifically tell that there is more dyspareunia, or sometimes there would be decrease in the flow, constipation, all these different presentation, but it all depends on the phenotype. So so actually it is important to decide the treatment of that patient. What is the prominent
phenotype symptom? Will help us in discussing the treatment.
Yes, but the thing is that idea is that problem starts from the bladder. And once it is not being treated, so you must have heard about the cross talk between organs. So there would be involvement of other pelvic organs nearby. It might
Okay.
be GI tract, or it might be muscles. So these are the things, and that's why there would be sometimes referred pain as well.
I see. And in bladder pain syndrome, what is like characterization of pain? In specific, like it is mild or chronic, weak, or it is patient presents with severe, or is anything described specific to the pain, or only with
It
urination?
is related to bladder. So
It's
patient
okay,
will
symptoms
say,
with this
yeah,
are present. Good.
yeah. So one patient of bladder pain syndrome can convert into chronic pelvic pain as well if it
Okay,
is not
yes,
being treated, and pelvic floor is into
It's con-
spasm.
spasm,
So
okay.
always, whenever patient is coming to us, we have to take the history from start. What was the initial symptoms with which patient
Any trigger
presented?
point, any trigger factors in the history would have
Yeah,
to
and
be
also
should be.
and if it is related to urination, patient is telling you that sometimes it is aggravating, or sometimes it's while passing urine, or
Okay,
a
it can be
patient will
anything.
tell that there are other symptoms as well, that patient will say that it's positional, like your
Okay.
ulcer is sitting at the
Trigone.
at the top of the bladder.
Okay.
So patient will tell that while lying down the pain aggravates, so nights are very
Okay.
bad, while standing or sitting it's better. So it depends on the location of the ulcer, because
Also, yeah.
you know that
This also
bladder pain
happens.
syndrome, there is one type is with Hunner's ulcer. So ulcers, if it is patchy, it's not the overall inflammation, then probably depending on the location of the
Position also.
ulcers, patient will say that on going on bumpy roads, whenever there is jerk or something, there is aggravation of pain because urine touches that
Okay.
ulcer. So these could be different kind of
Terms
presentation.
So just to summarize, first is in the pain. It related to bladder, increased frequency, increased urgency, nocturia. It can be with position, and the patient can give various history. To take the aggravating factors in the histories are very important. Yes, ma'am. This is this
Yeah.
will be-
So ulcers on an inflammation can be presented in different kinds of disorders.
conditions also. Yes.
So
Tuberculosis,
actually-
I think one of the
Actually, BPS is a diagnosis of exclusion.
exclusion.
That's why.
Yes.
So first and foremost, it is written in definition as well that you have to rule out UTI.
UTI.
So that's why in a short term history, or like if it is a very recent history, you cannot diagnose a patient of bladder pain syndrome.
Oh.
So that's why there should be a minimum duration.
So I think duration, as by Gibbs in India, we usually, at least we follow what we have learned,
think-
is Gibbs.
I think you have to tell what is Gibbs.
Oh, yes.
So it's actually a society formed in India, and now it is being recognized as well. The full
Worldwide.
form is the Global
Global.
Interstitial Cystitis Bladder
Blessed
Pain Society.
Society.
And what is the difference from other society, that we are actually thinking with Indian perspective. So we many things we have changed as per Indian patient requirement. So that's why you must have seen that few societies are telling that duration should be 6 weeks.
6 months, 6 weeks, 6
Yeah,
months.
so some societies are telling 6 months. So we have taken the middle path. Why? Because we don't want to overdiagnose the patient.
Hmm.
So that's why we are not taking that 6 weeks duration, and simultaneously we don't want that there should be late diagnosis,
Diagnosis.
so that patient are converting into the chronic cases. So that's why, and there is also it's very difficult here to get patient for follow up. So that's why
That is
it's
very-
better once patient is coming to. And if it is 3 months duration, then probably if you have been able to rule out
Pick up
other
early.
disorders, then it's better to
Better have
make a
better treatment,
diagnosis.
better
Yeah.
follow up. Just this will come in later part. I'll just say, I think, ma'am, Indian diet is also bad for bladder pain syndrome. That's also one of Gibbs's, I think, because it may not our patient scenario, because whatever literature data we've heard, it is worldwide, but Gibbs, I think, focus.
So once you will see the table, even in Campbell, which is the main urology book, you will see that they have written Mexican diet, Indian diet as a as
precipitating factor.
The
Trigger foods
responsible for the flare
Gibbs.
of bladder pain syndrome. So the thing is that we are having a kind of very wide variety of diet.
Yes, it's not routine, but Indian
Yeah.
also we have many
So-
options of food which
Yeah.
we can help
So
in.
few things which I can mention is that yes, spicy food, any food with which is sour, like citrus fruits,
Acidic.
apple, and acidic food, and also any form of caffeine, like even green tea is having a very
green
high
tea, yes.
amount of
Usually patients think that if we stop tea, we have to specifically say the patients
Yeah.
even stop green tea.
so even the Coke, Pepsi,
Ma'am,
caffeinated
decaf,
drinks.
nowadays a decaf coffee, that is something you want to
So,
comment on that.
for this, if you want, we can have there is a different diet
Diet chart, okay, we'll go in some
and
bit detail.
you
We'll get
can
that.
take a help of dietitian as
Dietitian
well.
wells, definitely.
What is good and what is
Dedicated
bad.
diet you get.
But the best thing a patient can do, that they can maintain their own food diary. They can see that what they are taking and
What is
on
aggravating.
taking what food they are having aggravation of symptoms, and on what food they are having good
Relief
days
or
or
good,
relief.
bad-
So
bad
in
days.
this way they can actually differentiate.
Differentiate.
So what we usually suggest patients that go for an elimination diet, that you are
Okay.
eliminating all those acidic food, but obviously you have to take care of your calories as well. It doesn't mean that you are
Calculate
not
deficient.
eating anything. And after 2 or 3 weeks, once you are feeling full relief, then one by one you
Introduce,
can
reintroduce.
reintroduce
Introducing the diet.
those food items which you have eliminated, and wait for 3 days. Don't take everything together at one time, because in this way you won't be able to differentiate that which item is causing problem and which is good. So in this way,
we can have
Indian diet is so very
various, actually diverse, that
Yeah,
sort of,
so
but
it's-
routine diet like
yeah.
spicy, we
So
prefer spicy
we can
food
just,
basically.
tell few food items, but I think for
Specific, we should have a different, and dietitian is actually a
and we
better
are
option,
actually
which is
doing a
suited.
research work on this thing,
This
and we have
also.
made a kind of Google form patient can
Okay.
write down, so that will be fruitful. Yes.
Nice. So we'll go back to history. One is the urinary complaint that we have seen. Ma'am, apart from like sexual dyspareunia, discharge, and anything specific to bladder pain syndrome, or it will be there or not there? Might be.
So again, it's not usually that patient will present with primary symptom of dyspareunia, but it has been seen that yes, there could be muscle spasm. So there are two kinds of dyspareunia: superficial and
And
deep. So usually superficial dyspareunia is, you have to rule out
Vulvodynia,
vulvodynia,
vaginitis,
vulvitis,
this all.
inflammation. It's usually more deep because of the muscle
okay.
spasm.
Okay.
So I usually ask patients about the history of simultaneously if they are having difficulty in passing a stool, or the aggravation of pain on passing a stool. So these things could be straining and all those things. So because of the pelvic floor spasm, you understand, whenever
Everything is
there would be
related to
pain,
pelvic floor.
the reaction of muscle is that it will go into spasm. So
Spasm.
that's why these symptoms start. So in this way, we can see that.
So urinary, fecal, and sexual and all may be correlated. I think many disorders, it may lead to depression also. Depression may be. I think this is the bladder pains,
so
mental illness.
It's an autoimmune disorder.
Okay.
It's an,
Autoimmune.
one of the
Theory,
strong etiology
is there, pathophysiology
that,
suggested.
it's an all autoimmune disorders will aggravate once there is a stress, whether
Okay,
it is SLE or other autoimmune disorder.
Stress.
So I think that's why in every guideline, the stress control,
Meditation
reduction
and that
everything,
lifestyle modification, behavioral
it's
stuff.
written in every step of guideline, like whenever you are stepping up or in the
Yoga,
treatment.
exercise, relaxation, everything.
So pain control and
Stress
stress management is very, very important for treating these patients at
Sure.
every step of treatment.
Okay, that is it. So one come history. Anything specific in examination to do with the bladder pain syndrome to see with it?
So I should say that the patient is suffering with pain, so you have to be very, very
Gentle.
gentle. That's very important. It's not that you just introducing finger because you're a
Typical.
gynecologist. So you have to be very humble that it can induce a lot
Okay,
of
Babu,
pain.
do that.
So first thing is that patient should be comfortable.
So just ma'am, to summarize, any patient with pain, examination should be very gentle and start with don't go. I think even for PS and PV, just do the local examination, one finger,
So
very
with
gentle.
your history, it
You
should
get
be in
an
your
idea.
mind that what you want to rule out.
Suspecting 2 to
So
3 diagnoses.
by looking, you can see is there any inflammation outside, vulvitis, something. So basically, examination is also the part of making
Normal,
other
complete
excluding
exclusion
other
also, okay.
diagnosis. So for bladder pain syndrome, specifically, you will find tenderness at the
Anterior
anterior
vaginal
vaginal
wall.
wall fornix, because you once you will touch the trigone, and it's very important, don't keep your other hand, like you don't need to do a
Typical,
bimanual examination,
what we do is
because
typical.
otherwise probably you are palpating uterus as well. So you just need to keep your finger
And see the patient
yeah,
face, try
press
to
on
see
the anterior vaginal
Okay.
wall and see if patient is wincing,
Wincing or
then
not.
probably it could be trigonitis. So this, and always look for pelvic floor spasm, look for any myofascial bands, any trigger point where you once you're touching and patient is
It
wincing.
can be in this way. Suppose like this pain patient, usually when they come to the OPD, they have a huge bundle of file, documents and everything. They have gone to multiple doctors. This is
And
there.
with attendants or relatives
With
sad
accompanying
faces,
this,
thinking that nothing is
it's
going,
to
happen.
work. This is there.
And it's
So-
all psychological.
हाँ, it's all in your head.
Yes.
It's all in your head. कुछ भी नहीं है, सब कुछ टेस्ट करा लिया, everything, nothing is there. So with this, what I want to ask is that it happens like we in examine, means what at least I've seen, and what I want to ask is, when the patient comes in the first examination, we might not notice that increased pelvic floor tone or spasm. Is it necessary to re-establish a diagnosis, and whenever next time the patient comes for follow-up, we always check for the pelvic examination and tone, or once there was no spasm, so next time what we should do?
Always your examination, and the thing is, examination is always is to establish or confirm the findings of your history.
Okay.
So in suppose for the first time it was missing, but second time patient is telling that yes, she is having some kind of pain during intercourse,
Okay, so
or
then it's related.
other kinds of symptoms, you can always
To go
examine.
for this. So
Yeah,
means the
so
re-evaluation
it
of
can-
symptom,
yeah, it can occur at any,
any stage of the disease.
So yeah, it's that's why
So reevaluate which symptoms have appeared, which has disappeared, which is aggravating, which is so that
like,
you can be.
like if you are finding a patient of bladder pain syndrome, and she is not giving any history of incontinence or any kind of voiding dysfunction, then doing urodynamics, it's so painful that patient will not turn up to you again. So
Again, this is
these
it.
things are very important, that which part of examination or investigation should be done for a particular patient, because you have to understand it's a painful condition. So always omit those tests which are not
necessary for this.
And there
I
is
think
a
this
list.
also,
Yeah,
I
there is
saw
a
that.
list in GIFS that what are the essential tests, what are the mandatory, or what are
Optional.
tests,
Tests
so
are there.
that you can see.
Follow.
Like on urine routine macroscopy and culture sensitivity is mandatory. So routine macroscopy, if there is blood cells and otherwise there is no pus cells, nothing, then these are the patients who are the candidate for cystoscopy.
Okay.
Because persistent hematuria, if it is macroscopic, it will actually, it is the indication for doing a cystoscopy. So otherwise probably in a setup where in Indian setup every patient won't be ready
Affording
for
for this
cystoscopy.
cystoscopy.
Now there is a new school of thought that we have to differentiate between
Hunners
and non-Hunners
patient.
disease. So that's why we should do an early cystoscopy, so that we can diagnose patient timely and treat, because the treatment might differ. So that's why now we are advocating early cystoscopy. But otherwise, if RBCs are there in routine macroscopy, you should go for cystoscopy.
But bladder pains, like it's very complicated diagnosis of exclusion. What here is like when the patient comes, we usually say like diagnosis of exclusion, you rule out very basic first UTI. UTI.
You're talking about bundles of investigations, patients that because usually I have seen that more than 50% of time patients are wrongly diagnosed as
Yes.
recurrent UTI.
Yes.
So it's very, very important to educate patient about how to do urine sampling, so that there shouldn't be incorrect diagnosis of culture. Or sometimes if you look for reports, you will find that there is nothing in routine. Sometimes only culture are coming positive. And with the colony count is not good, and patients are telling that they have taken antibiotic with the sensitivity many times, but still these antibiotics are not working. So this should raise a question on the diagnosis of recurrent UTI, and then probably you must educate patient that how to give sample.
Next step ahead, what again I want to ask is urine routine, there is no pus cell pain, we suspect usually bladder pain. But it can be even in this way also, na ma'am, with bladder patient is having pain and also having the pus. Means bladder pain syndrome patient can also have UTI.
Who
This
says
can
that
be-
a patient of bladder pain syndrome can
does not
never have UTI?
They can have, and especially cocktail when we do and this thing, matlab, there is always a risk.
So
na?
even
it
I'm
can
telling
be
you,
there
if you
together.
will see the pathophysiology, chronic insult of bladder mucosa, and one of the cause could be recurrent UTI.
UTI.
A patient of recurrent UTI
UTI
in future
predisposes
can
to
turn
a-
into bladder pain
bladder
syndrome.
pain
Because what is bladder pain syndrome? Damage in
To the
gag layer,
gag layer,
glycosaminoglycan
yes.
layer.
Mm,
So there
malodor
could be
is-
many causes for that thing.
So history examination, ma'am. Any specific test or just as you have mentioned earlier, food diary is important. Bladder diary role in bladder pain syndrome.
Yes, it's a very good role if you want to differentiate it from overactive bladder, other kinds of problems. So you can ask patient to maintain a diary. Of course, there won't be any incontinence, and you will see that patient is usually passing very small volumes of urine. Okay, and the thing is that it has been seen that there could be diurnal variation. In night, patient is sleeping quietly, and patient will say that till the time she is not sleeping. Suppose she is
She go multiple times.
yeah,
to the
and as soon
urination.
as she is in deep sleep, she is not going because it's the problem of sensation. So these are the things which you can see, and it can help you to see the relation with food diary as well. That on intake of certain food items, she is going.
Food diary she can maintain a long to observe it. Bladder diary we recommend for usually for 3 days. One of the thing.
The patient will write down pain, urgency, or these are the symptoms.
Pain diary will also help in this. We maintain a pain diary.
Actually,
which factors, stress, and everything will
So
combine.
the
I
bladder
think
diary always we keep a kind of column
column
where
with the
patient have to write down.
reason for
Yeah.
she goes
So
to. Okay, that
that's-
will
that's-
help again.
Otherwise, there are very good questionnaire as well.
Multiple
you can
questions
utilize,
for
yes,
bladder pain
yes.
syndrome. This is there. One thing, ma'am, with this bladder increased frequency, मतलब literally patients आपने भी देखा होगा, it's like 60 times per day. It's like literally go 5 minutes. That's so small capacity also happens. Urgency.
I'm sorry, I'm just stopping you. So patient will give history that feeling of incomplete evacuation.
Okay.
They will tell that they are feeling that they just passed urine. Still there is something inside, and that's why they are going. If a patient is going every 5 minutes, that would be the feeling. So obviously, the second important test to rule out that there shouldn't be any retention is measuring of PVR,
PVR.
post white residue. So that's why in our GIPS guideline, in mandatory test, we have written ultrasound as well, because ultrasound will rule out many things.
Other even gynae diseases also.
Gynae diseases, you can
Also
see
can,
features of endometriosis, you can see any stone, anything which can irritate the
Irritate
bladder,
plate.
you can actually see. Even early papilloma or some kind of things. So ultrasound, that's why. And in these patients, to rule out PVR is very important. If the patients cannot come with a straightforward diagnosis of bladder pain. Sometimes patient is having diabetes, so there could be diabetic uropathy. Patient are not able to sense their bladder or contract their bladder adequately. So these are the patients who have high chances of having retention of urine. So you have to be very, very vigilant, because there could be combination. There could be bladder pain syndrome with overactive bladder pain syndrome with stress incontinence, and these are the tricky patients where probably you have to investigate
Intervene
them
also.
further. So that's very important.
And we discussed earlier also, there is urgency, but urgency with pain. But as you said, ma'am, it can be overlapping also. Patient may be having bladder pain syndrome detected, diagnosed, but with that overlapping leakage with pain, it can be
So
OAB.
whenever leakage, mind you, in bladder pain syndrome there won't be any leakage,
Okay.
because it's
overlapping with overactive.
that's why if there is a leakage, you have to rule out overactive bladder. These are the patient probably where there could be a role of urodynamic studies. So you can see rise in pressure during filling phase, so that could differentiate apart from increase in sensation. So proprioception would be, that hypersensitivity would be there. and apart from that
It's like
you
I'm
can see-
looking long list. I don't know, go asking and asking. Anybody who want to, ma'am, know better and do this bladder, so something in a short, matlab we can
So
just
the,
something
you know,
where we
there are
can do
many
this.
things. If I should suggest you readings,
Something.
so as I mentioned that we are having society gifts.
Yes.
So we are organizing annual conference, and you all are invited for that conference, which is going to be held on 24th and 25th of August
Okay.
this
Next
year.
month.
Yeah. So you can actually have a summary of all kinds of parameters of bladder pain syndromes in that conference.
Seriously, I think this is the 9th annual conference. But मतलब I used to also wonder कि हर साल bladder pain syndrome में क्या नया इतना, but I also attended last few, so I've seen every year something or is coming, research and diagnosis, and what we see, the more we know, again there is more to explore, so we'll definitely
So
try.
we are also learning each time. So there's so much in
So
this
much
disease,
in this.
and still we don't know many things. Still we are struggling for a kind of one diagnostic
Perfect
test.
treatment also.
Yeah,
It
so
is.
that's
So when it comes to treatment, I think the treatment goes with the severity of pain, and as you already said, pain management and stress management is a part of each step. At any step stage the patient comes, this is there. So in this, I think most popular or most nothing difficult to understand, I think like hydrodistension. Please throw some light on intravesical hydrodistension.
So Mohini, the thing is that you have to understand that how to tackle a patient and at what stage patient is coming to you. So like in my setup, which I will tell you that if the patient is not giving a good response to the medical management or conservative management,
Oral medications.
yeah, the first line treatment patient is not responding, then probably whenever there is less than 50% relief, I will go for cystoscopy, and cystoscopy under anesthesia. That's very important. So that you
not
can-
under local
Yes,
anesthesia.
because you can utilize that cystoscopy not only to diagnose, even to give treatment at the same sitting. So for the diagnosis, suppose there is some kind of ulcer which is not looking healthy, you can take a biopsy as well. Otherwise, if there is
yes.
inflammation, glomerulation, pinpoint hemorrhages, which is pathognomic, then probably you don't need to take a biopsy. And once you have diagnosed on on the same sitting, once you have diagnosed this patient of bladder pain syndrome, then you can go for hydrodistension. So here what is hydrodistension? Basically, you are keeping the bladder at its full bladder capacity at certain pressure, that is 80 centimeter of water pressure, for few minutes. Few minutes means that's 2 or 3 minutes,
2 minutes,
not 10
yes,
minutes.
हाँ,
Okay.
yes,
So
definitely.
stretching of the nerves will make them numb. So
Okay.
that's why, and the effect will last for say 3 months, 4 months, and this time period you can utilize for
Visualization.
giving those treatment which will induce
Pain
healing.
relief, healing to them.
Like the gag and locks, pentosan, or even you can go for intravesical therapy. All depends. So cystoscopy, there are so many advantages of
Uses.
cystoscopy. You can see the severity, how much inflammation is there, how many ulcers are there.
And even in
what is
follow-up,
bladder
diagnostic,
capacity.
therapeutic, and in follow-up also it may be useful.
So yeah, the hydrodistension. Yeah, what do you mean by 80 centimeter of water pressure? You have to see the water column should be at the height of 80 centimeter
From the patient.
pubic symphysis. So these are the very small points, and it's not a very tough thing. Anybody?
I mean, it can be there in cystoscopy in bladder pain cases. It's normal. Everything is normal. No inflammation or something.
I told you that's
But
why
times
bladder
with
pain
it.
syndrome is the diagnosis wider to include all those patients who are having normal findings on cystoscopy.
Cystoscopy. Still, but
So
they
yes,
may be
because
pain,
grossly there won't be any damage, and it's not feasible to take a biopsy in each and every patient to see the microscopic.
and it can also come
examination.
normal. Histopathological also, there may be patient with maybe normal.
Yeah, but there would be some kind of increase in mass.
mass
There
or
are
something.
specific a kind of histopathological tests which are done for the diagnosis of IC, which is not cost effective to do for each and every patient.
It was very short and good, ma'am. Just a last take home message from this. What, like, when the next patient, after seeing this, watching this, our viewers when they see the next patient of bladder pain syndrome? Such take-home points.
So the thing is that still I think that there is a lot of lack of awareness, I should say, among doctors. So the thing is, whenever you should always keep this diagnosis in your mind whenever patients with chronic irritative lower urinary tract symptoms are coming to you. But it doesn't mean that each and every patient is having bladder pain syndrome.
It can be overdiagnosis
so
also.
Never do a overdiagnosis, but don't miss the diagnosis, because whenever there is a patient who is chronic, not being treated timely, there is central sensitization, and that's why even on healing of that inflammation or gag layer, they will have
Still the
persistent
symptoms will be
So
there.
these are the most difficult patients to treat. And whenever the bladder is having ulcers, there would be contracture, and these
Capacities.
patients capacity is reduced.
One in the one vicious
Yeah,
cycle
they
will go.
require
another.
change of bladder. That's mean they require cystectomy
also.
and new bladder formation. So these are the last stages, and it's our duty that
To educate.
no patient should reach to that stage.
Stage,
That's my
yes.
take home message.
Nice, ma'am. Just as you said, we should be vigilant very while treating and seeing any patient. Thank you, ma'am. It was very lovely session, and thank you so much for coming here and giving your precious time and this, and we'll definitely attend GIPS and we'll learn more and more, and so have better patient management.
Thank you,
Thank
Mohini.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And my all blessings for you, for your future endeavors. Thank you.
Ma'am. Thank you. So, we're so thankful to Dr. Amita Jain, ma'am, and we learned literally bladder pain syndrome before the podcast and after the podcast. In this short duration, I think my also thought and diagnosis approach is going to change for the betterment of the patient. So, literally, GIPS has organized every annually only focus on this topic. I was literally shocked too when I came first to know this. So the link will be in the description below. Anybody who want to register, please do register for this, and stay tuned. Be connected with us for more such information. Thank you so much.